meant boarding a plane made by one of two aerospace titans, Boeing, hailing from the United States, or Airbus, the pride of Europe. These two aviation giants have dominated the skies like emperors of the air, sharing a near-total monopoly over the global commercial aircraft industry. Their reign has been largely unchallenged for over 30 years. Rivals have tried to break through, but none have seriously threatened their duopoly until now. In 2022, a quiet revolution took flight. A new jetliner entered commercial service, not from Seattle, where Boeing reigns, or from Toulouse, the heart of Airbus, but from Shanghai, China. Its name, the Comac C919. This was China's first large-scale domestically developed passenger aircraft, and while it initially sparked skepticism in Western media, dismissed by many as yet another copycat attempt, the global reaction is no longer one of laughter or disbelief, because since its launch, the C919 has amassed more than 1,400 orders. And while most have come from Chinese airlines, a growing number of international carriers are beginning to pay serious attention. Why? Because the C919 delivers comparable performance at a significantly lower cost, with the global airline industry under increasing pressure to cut expenses, reduce emissions, and expand operations. A lower-cost jet that competes directly with Boeing's 737 and Airbus's A320 is a game-changer. But this is more than just a story about a new aircraft. It's about the shifting center of industrial power. It's about economic leverage and global influence. The commercial aviation industry is one of the most complex, tightly regulated, and politically sensitive sectors on Earth. Every commercial jet is more than a machine. It's a symbol of national strength, technological leadership, and economic independence. So, when China unveiled the C919, it wasn't merely showcasing a new plane, it was crashing through the gates of an exclusive global club, one that has, for decades, only welcomed members with the economic weight, engineering prowess, and political clout to build world-class aircraft. Now, the question echoing through boardrooms, government agencies, and airfields worldwide is no longer if China can build planes, but whether it can reshape the global aviation order. To most people, an airplane is just a flying vehicle that gets them from point A to point B. But to nations like the United States and those in the European Union, commercial aircraft represent far more. They're icons of national pride, pillars of economic strength, and symbols of technological supremacy. That's why Boeing and Airbus aren't just manufacturing firms, they are industrial institutions, backed by their respective governments, protected by regulatory systems, and vital to tens of thousands of high-skilled jobs. Together, Boeing and Airbus control a staggering 98% of the global market for mainline jetliners, jets with more than 150 seats that handle the vast majority of domestic and international routes. For decades, no serious challenger has emerged until now. The C919's entry is triggering alarm bells, not only in corporate boardrooms but also in the halls of political power. Because this isn't just about who sells more planes, it's about who controls the future of aviation, and by extension, who holds the technological high ground. Airplanes are more than just carriers of passengers. They represent control over massive international supply chains, dual-use technologies with military applications, and access to aerospace standards that shape global policy. That's why China's move into this space is seen not merely as industrial progress but as a strategic provocation, and it's making Western leaders nervous. If Chinese-made jets start replacing Boeings and Airbuses in the fleets of airlines around the world, it could translate into losses and diminishing influence over the very rules that govern the skies. Making just an airplane. It's a flying declaration that China is no longer content to follow. It's a challenge that Boeing, Airbus, and their backers in Washington and Brussels cannot take lightly. As the C919 began gaining traction, with hundreds of confirmed orders and increasing international interest, the West's reaction quickly shifted from skepticism to resistance. By the end of 2023, the U.S. Department of Commerce began turning the screws. Several Chinese aviation firms were added to the entity list, essentially a blacklist that restricts their access to U.S. technology. That might seem like a bureaucratic move, but its impact was laser-focused on one of the C919's most critical components, its engine. The LEAP-1C engine that powers the C919 is a co-development between General Electric in the US and Safran Aircraft Engines in France. It's an engineering marvel and also a perfect pressure point. More than 30% of the C919's components come from US-based suppliers, and many of those parts are regulated under US export control laws. That means Washington has the power to decide whether those parts